Have you guys gotten any, has Ryan been reevaluated yet? And if so, what came from him?
He's been reevaluated. He's done some shooting. I think that to some degree the pain is subsiding. We still don't know. We're unclear on what his availability is going to be. Obviously, our hopes are that we can get him involved in practice things sooner rather than later. But we're not sure right now what that will mean for Saturday or beyond. I mean, he's been out on the court doing some shooting and some stuff like that the last couple of days, and so things are improving. But I don't know that I'm not ready to say that I think that he will be available, but I'm not ready to say that he's not going to be either. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see what happens the next couple of days.
How do you think he is mentally right now? Do you think he's been staying engaged?
Oh, I mean, he's an engaged guy. He stays engaged. I think he's, I think he's a little frustrated with an injury his senior year and that sort of thing, because the last thing he wants to do is miss game time. And but hopefully we can get him back soon and get him going again.
Is everyone else relatively healthy going into conference play?
I think so. We got one guy that's battling a little bit of a turf toe, but that seems to be I mean, it's not keeping him from playing or practicing, but that seems to be the biggest other injury concern at the moment, so yeah, we're relatively healthy other than Ryan's injury, of course.
That's a piece with the turf toe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan's hamstring's gotten better.
Yeah, he hasn't shown any ill effects of that recently, and so I think he's a lot closer to 100% than he's been since he tweaked it in the first place.
What do you feel like during the non-conference portion of the schedule, Kevin, was the biggest thing that you learned about your team?
That they're a good group of fighters. They play hard. They compete hard. We're certainly not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, or not a finished product in any way. But they're very good at competing and very good at fighting and trying to do what they're asked to do. And sometimes we perform better than others, but they don't make excuses. They don't look for reasons not to. They try to do what they're asked to do, and I think that this 8-game stretch that we've been on since the rough beginning, I think it kind of shows that they've been coachable, and they are engaged, and they're engaged with each other. They're engaged with the coaching staff, and so I think, if anything, that I've learned from them. I felt it going in, but I've learned that they're going to give us everything that they have, and that's been a real nice thing so far.
When you go from the disparity in opponents, when you play Towson, you play Mount St. Mary's, and you jump to a number 15 team, Miami, what are the initial things, do you think, when they hit the court, that is going to be completely different, whether it's the speed of the game or matchups on a daily possession-by-possession basis? What do you think some of the main...
Yeah, I think that the game will resemble the games that we're going to play will resemble the West Virginia game. I mean, it's going to be high major athletes and high major skilled players at every position, and so in some of the non-conference games, you might play a team that's got 2 or 3 skilled guys and whatever, maybe a couple of front court guys that aren't very skilled or what have you. You play a team like Miami, every one of their guys is skilled. They have great length. Their speed is is eye-catching, that jumps off the, kind of jumps off the tape at you. And I think that's how the whole league is. It's just one game after another of long, athletic, skilled, high major skill, high major athlete type guys.
Over these past 2 weeks, even this past month here, Kevin, how has your confidence in your team and how they might fare in ACC play changed in the way that you view how they might do?
I don't. I think my confidence level it comes that they're going to compete hard, and I don't. Obviously, we have a chance to be a better team with Ryan, and so his availability and his return to form is pretty critical for our team, I think, in the long run of the schedule. But I don't know that my confidence level has changed any, because we're obviously taking a big step up in terms of the competition level on a nightly basis, and I still have extreme confidence that my team's going to play hard and they're going to compete hard and do those things. And in terms of what that translates to in numbers of wins, obviously I don't know, but I am confident that we will compete and so at least I have that going for me. And I know that sounds crazy, but just to know that your team will come out and try to play hard every game is a good thing to have confidence in as a coach.
Last year when you made the transition from, you've been coaching a while, you go from the SEC to the ACC, was there anything that caught you by surprise in the full conference schedule last season, or anything you learned that may be different than the other places you coached?
I think the biggest thing was the depth of this league. I just, the year before I had been in a league that 3 teams got into the NCAA tournament, and we were one of them, and it came into a league where 9 teams got into it, and we weren't. And so I think that was the thing that was sort of the biggest eye-opener for me, was just the depth of the league. That the top of any Power 5 league is going to be really good, whether you're talking about the SEC or the Big Ten or the ACC, whatever. The very top of the league is going to be national championship caliber teams. But the depth in this league was something that I found pretty interesting, because it's not only a great league at the top, it goes 9, 10, 11 deep, and that's what makes it the league it is.
I don't know if coaches typically conjure these kind of things up, but going into ACC play, do you sort of have in your mind, okay, this would, for me, I think be the best case scenario, but conversely, I think this is what could possibly happen to us if everything goes to hell?
You mean record-wise?
I guess record-wise and how you view your team, but yeah, I guess record-wise mostly. Do you?
I don't, because I don't think that projecting and kind of getting into the guessing game is, at least it's not helpful for me. Maybe some coaches do it and they derive some benefit from it. It's not helpful to me, because I really don't have any control over all of that. At least I don't feel like I do. And the thing for me is, on a daily basis, doing the best job I can to give my guys the best chance for success, putting them in the best positions, and making sure that scheme-wise that we're set up the best way that we can be set up, whether that's press offense or zone offense or half-court defense or out-of-bounds defense or whatever the case might be. and try to look at every aspect of how we play, and do we have the best scheme for the talent that we have. And then on the flip side of that, doing the job on a daily basis to develop these guys' confidence and the consistency of their approach so that they can be the best players that they can be. And so, you know, I always look at my job at the beginning of any season as getting my team as close to reach, coming to as closely as possible to reaching their potential. And I never really know if I've done that until I can almost look backwards. And because we can play a good game and get beat, okay? We played a reasonably good game against West Virginia, at least a good second half, and we lost. But as much as we're evaluated on winning and losing, I have to try to take that out of it in my evaluation of what my team is doing and the progress they're making. And so as best I can, I try to keep my focus on, are we doing the best job that we can do as a unit, as a group, and that's how I try to evaluate myself.
Is there one guy on this team, like maybe when you and your staff get together and sort of talk about your rotation, that you think, if this guy can sort of take a big step forward and find some consistency, it'll really help us over these next 2.5 months?
Yeah, I would say that the answer to that is yes, and I think that guy is Shamil Stevenson for us. I think that he's a guy from a talent perspective that has a chance to be a difference maker over the course of his career. Not, you know, I'm not saying that he's an all-league player right now or anything like that, but he's got a chance to be a guy that can get a lot of things done. He's got a unique body and level of athleticism with that body, and can do multiple things. And but I think there is there's a consistency that we're trying to pursue and get to with him. Consistency in approach, consistency of concentration and intensity and things like that. He's a great kid. He's a great teammate. He's not a resistant kid. It's just that some things come naturally for certain guys, and other things come naturally for other guys, and that's the thing that we're trying to get to with him. But I think he's the guy that, in answer to your question, when we sit around as a coaching staff, has a chance to be the guy that can make a difference for us.
When you're developing him like that, and you have the body, you have the athleticism, what skill sets do you look to improve to get him to your ideal of like what he can reach potential-wise? Like, is it ball handling? Is it an outside shot?
I think from a skill standpoint, he can improve everything. He can improve those things that you talked about. He can improve his defense, his rebounding. He has some gifts and some ability to do things. The thing that I would most like to help him improve is his consistency. And when he's good, he's really good. And so I would just like to help him develop an approach that would allow him to play more closely to that high level on a more frequent basis. And I think that he's capable, but I also think that just like a guy that a guy that doesn't have confidence in his outside shooting, let's say, it's a process sometimes to take a guy to get himself to believe in a skill or in something about him. Well, it's the same thing. It's a process of trying to get a guy to develop consistency. It's not something that you can just say, hey, you need to be more consistent, and he can do it. Heck, if he could do it, he would have already done it. And so that's a process of coaching and teaching and learning, just like acquiring a skill is. But Shamil can be a difference maker for us because of some of the things that he brings to the table that other guys can't bring.
I would think a good deal that inconsistency probably comes just naturally with being a freshman. With Shamil, how much more of it comes from the fact that he's a guy who's very physically developed. I figure in high school he was probably able to physically kind of exert himself and get to the basket and get points and get rebounds at will. I mean, how much of it ties back into that, where he's a guy who's still sort of getting adjusted to the fact that he's at a different level now?
I think there's some of that, and I think that there's definitely, you can make a case that when a guy's talented like that, high school play probably came pretty easy to him at times, and so he never maybe had to develop the intensity and the focus and the concentration and the drive to be an every play, everyday guy. But now with the step up in competition and intensity and all of that, the level of athlete and so on and so forth, that's part of the adjustment. But it's also, as I was saying a little bit ago, some of it's also just who he is. It's just his natural personality. He's an easygoing, good guy, fun guy to be around, nice person, and not that nice people can't be intense or or tough or rough or whatever, but some of it's just kind of transforming that approach a little bit to being what he can be on a more consistent basis.
Based off all your players, and not just Shamil, you talked about earlier in the season when you had Festus Ezeli and the progression he had on a year-to-year basis. When you look back on the season, what do you form a blueprint with each individual player in terms of player development, like what you want them to spend improving upon, or how you're going to get them to do it, or is it kind of just like a collective? Like, what's the process when you look back on the season from year to year to get a freshman to make that jump from year one to year two?
Well, I think after this season's over with, I mean, everything that you do during the off season, you really gear it towards the individual. Everything that you do during the season, as much as you can, you still try to help complete that individual and help develop him. But you have to make team decisions then. But as soon as the season's over with, then you take a step back, you look back, you kind of know the areas of growth that guys need to have because you've been around them every day for months. But set up a plan and start attacking. Again, you go back to the individual attacking of deficiencies and weaknesses, but also continuing to develop their strengths. So obviously at this juncture we're knee deep into it's all about the team stuff now. But when the season ends, that'll be one of the very first things we do is set up an individual plan for each guy and we'll start attacking those things and in the areas of development that they need.
What are you expecting, from ACC play? You're obviously older than the freshmen on the team, but this is all still sort of new to you too.
Well, this is kind of what everybody on this team came here for.
Yeah.
Seeing that we play in the ACC, this is something that got us all hyped when deciding to come here. So it's something we've been focusing on a lot lately. Our team, whether it's good or bad, we've actually played to the level of our competition every game. So usually we play good when we play good teams. So I'm, expecting a lot of fight out of the team, out of myself. We're just looking forward to it. We're excited to start conference play.
How much you've been following the ACC so far, whether it's looking at box scores or just kind of catching a game when you get home from practice or something?
Well, I actually have a lot of friends just from AAU when I was younger and even from where I lived that play in the ACC, so I've been actually following a lot of it. knowing that that's my competition too, I try to watch almost every game I can, you know. So.
Who are some of your, like, is anyone notable that you were friends with, that you played alongside? Played
Oh, well. Funny, Bruce Brown I actually played against a lot growing up. We played for rival AAU programs, so that's one guy I could think of, you know, off the top of my head, because we happen to be playing them. So.
You know, I would think for someone like you, between high school, AAU, and then junior college, you're someone who, I saw this guy even on like Delaware State who you played JUCO ball with. You're someone I would think who has some pretty wide tentacles in college basketball. What's the experience like for you? And you'll find out, I guess, with Bruce Brown on Saturday. I mean, what's that experience like of guys who you kind of came up with, and now you're at the level you all always kind of talked about getting to? What's that like?
It's kind of like a dream come true, just talking to those people and even looking, on the other side of the court and seeing them across from you. It's kind of surreal to the point where, like with Bruce specifically, I've seen him wear multiple jerseys on the opposite side of me, and now to be on this level and both of our names on our chests say, teams that we've been watching on TV for years, it's definitely kind of surreal. But yeah, I've been a lot of places, played a lot of basketball, so my connections as far as being friends with people, playing against people is a really wide variety.
Obviously, you've been knowing Bruce a long time, but I mean, what else do you know about, I guess, how he's doing this year, and then I guess just Miami from what we've seen and what you know so far?
They're a great team. Only lost one game, I think it is. Should have won that game too. Bruce, he's obviously a great player, one of the best players in the country, if you ask me. Really athletic, really attacks, can really make shots, and he's kind of their energy guy, along with being one of their most talented players. So.
Have you communicated a lot with him throughout your adjustment to this level of basketball? Has he been one of the guys that you're closer with, or you text a lot?
Probably not. I don't really talk to people outside of, our team, our coaching staff. It's kind of like my best friends. So.
With so many of you guys in your first season here, I mean, how much has Coach Stallings or the coaching staff talked to you guys about ACC play, what to expect? And what have they told you about it?
Just that it's really a full 40-minute war every night. Even if you get up on a team, you can't even bank on that lead. You got to play your heart out for 40 full minutes just to have a chance to win the game. And that's every team. You can even see, last year they didn't do so well in conference, but still took teams like Duke and Carolina down to, the last couple of minutes. So ACC is really just a conference full of, top-level talent. So you can never take your foot off the pedal, and that's something that he stresses to us about the ACC.
Is that something you learned kind of through experience when you played West Virginia? Something you can take from that game?
Yeah, definitely, because that's obviously one of the best teams in the country, and they have been for the last couple of years. So playing in that game was definitely a little taste of just how it's going to be like every night in the conference, but still probably not even comparable. So
when you guys see games like Wofford winning at Carolina, like with your next event with New Mexico State beating them, I mean, how, I don't necessarily want to say reassuring, but for you guys, how does that sort of change your mindset going into conference play, where it's like, hey, it may not seem super likely that we beat Duke or that we win at Duke or win at Carolina, but we have these games here that tell us otherwise?
I think as far as us, our mindset doesn't really change on how we think we can beat teams, because we think we can compete with everybody. So. But I think seeing games like that is just a testament to how college basketball is kind of coming to a level playing field with everybody. As long as you are a Division I team, you have a chance to win the game. I think that's what that showed me, because one of my old teammates, his Donovan Love, he actually plays for Wofford. So, I was definitely watching that game. But I think that's just a testament to Division I basketball and just how far it's came along from having teams that could not be beaten or would just blow everybody out, and now you have teams, in low major and mid major conferences beating, ACC teams like it was regular, because they were up big that game for a lot of that game. So.
Obviously you all were picked, 15th of 15 teams in the preseason poll. There are some statistical models that have you guys maybe win like 1 or 2 games. How much, you guys have talked before about how the low expectations, the low external expectations kind of give you guys a little some extra, or how it maybe in some ways motivates you guys. I mean, how much is that still the case for you guys going into ACC play?
As far as on the team, in the locker room with the coaching staff, we are prepared to turn people's heads. We know how good we can be. We know how well we can play. And, we know we can beat a lot of teams that people don't think we can beat. So going into ACC play, we're just focused on us, trying to play our game every game. And, like I said, at this level, anything can happen. So we're just going to let, the dice roll, our guys up against their guys, and what happens, happens. We believe in ourselves. Our coaching staff believes in us, gives us the confidence every day. The external expectations, of course, they will always serve as motivation. Not that we're looking at it a lot, but we do see it and do hear it. So we're just focused on us, trying to win games, get better every day.
With you being this is kind of not basketball thing. With you being a Hartford guy, you're kind of used to this. Who on the team has handled the cold weather the worst?
Surprisingly, probably me, and Shamil, probably, I would say. Which is funny because he's from Canada,
yeah.
So it's cold up there too. But and Marcus also. But we were at schools in Arizona and Florida, so we kind of had like a year or two of being in warm weather. Like I know myself, I haven't really been in Connecticut during the wintertime in 2 years. So it's definitely really cold to me right now because I've been in the sun, even in January it's 80 degrees. So down there where I was at school at, so it's definitely really cold outside.
I probably would have been any money I had on Peace. That would have been my guess. But
Peace is bundled up. He doesn't really worry about it. He takes care. He just, he has a huge jacket, huge hat. So, yeah.